Hello, chicken farmers. How are you all doing? Today, I'm going to share something absolutely revolutionary with you that has completely transformed my egg-laying chicken business. I'm serious when I say that what I added to the water of my 30 chickens made them lay 900 eggs per month. Yes, you heard that right. 900 eggs. They literally went crazy with productivity. And best of all, this is something natural, affordable, and that anyone can do on their own farm. So if you're tired of having low production, if your chickens aren't yielding what you expected, or if you simply want to take your operation to the next level, stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal every detail of this incredible secret. And before we continue, don't forget to give us that wonderful like down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any valuable tips that can transform your chicken farming. Let's go on this journey together. Look, I've been working with poultry farming for over 20 years. I've been through every kind of challenge you can imagine. I've had chickens that simply stopped laying. I've faced problems with feed, diseases, bird stress, and I can guarantee you that I've learned in practice what works and what doesn't. During all these years, I've always looked for natural and economical ways to improve the health and productivity of my birds because I believe we don't need to spend fortunes on industrial products when nature offers us incredible solutions. And it was exactly this search that led me to discover this fantastic ingredient I'm going to share with you today. Before revealing what this magic ingredient is, I need you to understand how the chicken's laying system works. Many people don't know, but laying hens need a series of specific nutrients to be able to lay quality eggs and maintain constant production. A basic diet of commercial feed, although important, is often not enough to extract the full potential of these wonderful birds. Chickens need calcium, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and most importantly, they need a healthy digestive system to absorb all these nutrients efficiently. This is where our special secret comes in. The ingredient that completely changed my egg production is something you probably have in your kitchen or can easily get at any market or health food shop. I'm talking about organic apple cider vinegar. Yes, my friend, this golden liquid that so many people use in the kitchen is a true treasure for your egg-laying chicken flock. But wait, it's not just any apple cider vinegar. It has to be organic, preferably the kind that comes with the mother of vinegar, which are those fibers that sit at the bottom of the bottle. This type of vinegar is rich in enzymes, natural probiotics, and acetic acid that bring extraordinary benefits to your chicken's health. Let me explain exactly how apple cider vinegar works in the chicken's bodies and why it is so powerful. First, apple cider vinegar creates an acidic environment in the bird's digestive system, and this environment is fundamental for killing bad bacteria, parasites, and other microorganisms that can harm the chicken's intestinal health. When the gut is healthy, nutrient absorption increases drastically, and this is directly reflected in egg production. Additionally, apple cider vinegar is rich in potassium, which helps with the bird's electrolyte balance, improving blood circulation and tissue oxygenation. Another fantastic benefit of apple cider vinegar is that it helps strengthen the chicken's immune systems. You've probably noticed that when chickens get sick or stressed, egg production drops drastically, right? Well, apple cider vinegar acts as a natural immunity booster, making your birds more resistant to common diseases like coryza, bronchitis, coccidiosis, and other ailments that so often plague farmers. With healthier chickens, you have fewer expenses for vets and medication, and most importantly, you have birds laying eggs all year round. But the benefits don't stop there. Apple cider vinegar also helps with the absorption of calcium, which is essential for the formation of eggshells. Many farmers complain that their chickens lay eggs with thin shells or even shellless eggs. This usually happens because even though they offer calcium in the diet, the chickens aren't able to absorb this mineral properly. The acetic acid present in apple cider vinegar facilitates this absorption, resulting in eggs with stronger, higher quality shells. And you know what that means? Fewer broken eggs, more eggs to sell or consume, and healthier chickens because they aren't losing calcium from their own bones to form the eggs. Now comes the part you're most curious about. How do I use apple cider vinegar in my flock, and what was the exact protocol that took me from average production to an explosive production of 900 eggs per month with only 30 chickens? Look, the ratio I use is very simple, and anyone can replicate it. I add 2 tablespoons of organic apple cider vinegar for every liter of water the chickens will drink. It's important to point out that I don't add the vinegar to metal drinkers because the acid can react with the metal and cause problems. I always use plastic or ceramic drinkers for this purpose. The implementation is gradual, and this is very important for you to understand. I didn't start putting vinegar in the water overnight. On the first day, I only put 1 teaspoon of vinegar per liter of water, just so the chickens could start getting used to a different flavor. Some birds are more sensitive to changes in their water, so this transition period is fundamental. After 3 days, I increased it to 1 tablespoon per liter, and after a week, I was already at the ideal ratio of 2 tablespoons per liter. This adaptation process prevents the chickens from refusing the water and ensures they stay properly hydrated. I offer this water with vinegar every day, always changing it in the morning to ensure it's fresh. During the hottest days, I change the water up to twice a day because heat can alter the vinegar's properties and also because chickens drink more water when it's hot. One important detail, I use clean, high-quality water. It's no use adding apple cider vinegar to dirty or contaminated water because you won't get the expected results. The water needs to be treated, preferably filtered or from a well-maintained artesian well. Results started to appear gradually but consistently. In the first week, I didn't notice much difference, but I already noticed that the chickens had more appetite and were more active in the coop. In the second week, I started to notice a subtle increase in egg production, maybe 5 to 10 more eggs than usual. But it was from the third week on that the results really exploded. My 30 chickens, which used to lay an average of 600 to 650 eggs per month, started laying more and more, reaching the 900 eggs per month that I maintain to this day. The most impressive thing is that this production remains constant. It's not one of those things where you have a production peak one month and then it drops drastically. Consistency is one of the things that impresses me most about this method. The chickens maintain an average of 30 eggs per bird per month, which is simply spectacular for backyard chickens like mine. And mind you, I don't use any kind of artificial lighting to force laying. I don't give hormones, none of that. It's all natural, just with the addition of apple cider vinegar in the water. Besides the increase in quantity, the quality of the eggs also improved significantly. The yolks became more orange, firmer, and the shells became much more resistant. I even do a test I learned from an old-time farmer. I take an egg and squeeze it gently with my whole hand, and the shell holds up to the pressure without breaking. This shows that calcium absorption has really improved a lot. The eggs also became more uniform in size, with less variation between large and small eggs, which is great when you're selling because customers prefer standardized eggs. Another benefit I noticed, which might be even more important than the increase in egg production, is the general health of my chickens. Before starting with apple cider vinegar, I had recurring problems with respiratory diseases, especially during season changes. I always had to separate 1 or 2 sick chickens, treat them with antibiotics, and sometimes I even lost some birds. After I started using apple cider vinegar regularly, these problems practically disappeared. It's been over 6 months since I've had to use any antibiotics in my flock. The chickens are more resilient, with more beautiful and shiny feathers and vibrant red combs, which are clear signs of good health. Now, I need to be honest with you about some important points. Apple cider vinegar is not a magic solution that solves all your farming problems if you don't take care of the other basic aspects. It is fundamental that you continue offering high-quality feed, preferably specific for layers, which has at least 16% protein. Nutrition is the foundation of everything, and apple cider vinegar comes as a powerful supplement. But it doesn't replace good nutrition. I also offer my chickens maize meal, chopped greens, healthy food scraps, and I always keep an extra source of calcium available, such as ground eggshells or calcitic limestone. The environment where the chickens live is also crucial. There's no point in giving apple cider vinegar if the coop is dirty, damp, full of manure, or lacks proper ventilation. Chickens need a clean, airy environment with enough space to move around. I clean my coop at least once a week, changing all the wood shavings or straw bedding. I also ensure there are enough perches for all the birds to sleep comfortably, well located in comfortable nesting boxes for laying, and an outdoor space where they can scratch, take dust baths, and get sun. Correct management also makes all the difference. I collect eggs at least twice a day to prevent the chickens from breaking them or getting them dirty. I maintain a consistent feeding routine, offering feed at the same times every day. Chickens are creatures of habit, and when you maintain a routine, they stay calmer and more productive. I also observe my birds' behavior daily. Any sign that something is wrong, like an isolated chicken with ruffled feathers and no appetite, I immediately pay attention and take action. Many people ask me if apple cider vinegar can be used for other birds besides laying hens. The answer is yes. I also use it for my meat chickens, ducks, and even the turkeys I have here on the property. The benefits are the same: improved intestinal health, stronger immune system, better nutrient absorption. For meat birds, this means faster and healthier weight gain. For ducks, which are very susceptible to respiratory problems, the vinegar helps keep the respiratory system clean and functioning well. Some farmers ask me about the cost of this method. Look, compared to the benefits, the cost is ridiculously low. A 1-liter bottle of organic apple cider vinegar costs on average between $15 and $20, depending on the brand and the region where you live. With this bottle, using 2 tablespoons per liter of water, you can prepare enough water for 30 chickens for almost a month. In other words, we're talking about an investment of less than $5 per day to have a significant increase in egg production and the health of your birds. It's an unbeatable value. Some farmers try to save money by using common apple cider vinegar, the cheaper kind from the supermarket. I've already done this test, and I can tell you it doesn't work the same way. Organic apple cider vinegar with the mother of vinegar has a much higher concentration of live enzymes, probiotics, and nutrients. Common vinegar is usually pasteurized and filtered, losing most of these beneficial properties. So if you want to have the same results I had, invest in quality organic apple cider vinegar. It's a difference of maybe 5 or 10 rays more, but it makes all the difference in the results. Another point I want to share with you is about production seasonality. Normally, chickens have a natural drop in egg production during the winter, especially when the days get shorter. This happens because egg production is related to the amount of light chickens receive daily. However, since I started using apple cider vinegar, I noticed that this drop in production during the winter was much less pronounced. Of course, there is still a small reduction because it's natural for chickens, but instead of dropping by half, as it did before, production only drops about 10 or 15%. This keeps the business profitable all year round. Speaking of profitability, let me do some quick maths with you to show the real impact of this method on your income. Before using apple cider vinegar, my 30 chickens produced about 650 eggs per month. Considering that a dozen backyard eggs are being sold on average for between $12 and $50 in my region, I was grossing approximately between $650 and $700 per month from egg sales. Subtracting the feed costs, which were around $400, my profit margin was $250 to $300 per month. Now with a production of 900 eggs per month, maintaining the same feed costs and adding only $25 for apple cider vinegar, my revenue rose to approximately $900 to $2,100 per month. Subtracting the $425 in costs, my profit margin is now between $475 and $675 per month. In other words, I practically doubled my profit just by adding apple cider vinegar to the chicken's water. And notice that I didn't increase the number of birds, I didn't expand the coop, and I didn't make any other significant additional investment. It was just this simple change that transformed the profitability of my business. For those who are just starting out in laying hen farming, my recommendation is that you start using apple cider vinegar right from the beginning. Don't wait until you have low production problems or diseases to implement this method. Prevention is always better than cure. If you're setting up your coop, plan from the start to have appropriate plastic or ceramic drinkers for vinegar use. Calculate in your budget the monthly cost of apple cider vinegar, which, as we've already discussed, is very low, and establish a routine for preparing the water with vinegar so that it becomes a natural habit in your daily management. For those who already have an established operation but are facing low production problems, apple cider vinegar might be exactly the solution you were looking for. But remember to make the transition gradually, as I explained earlier. I also recommend that you evaluate all other aspects of your farming before implementing the vinegar. Check if the feed is appropriate, if the coop is clean, if the chickens have clean water available all the time, and if there are problems with overcrowding or stress in the flock. Apple cider vinegar will enhance a good operation, but it won't work miracles if the basic foundations are not in order. A very common question I receive is about the frequency of using apple cider vinegar. Some farmers ask if they can use it only a few days a week or if it's necessary to use it every day. In my experience, the best results come from daily and continuous use. Apple cider vinegar acts cumulatively in the chicken's bodies, gradually improving intestinal health and nutrient absorption. If you use it only sporadically, you won't be able to maintain these benefits consistently. It's like taking vitamins. You need to take them regularly for them to have an effect. It's no use taking them one day and skipping 3. However, I take a 1-week break every 3 months. This is because I read in some studies that occasional breaks can help prevent the birds from getting too accustomed to any supplement. During this break week, I offer normal plain water, but maintain all other aspects of the routine. After that week, I go back to the vinegar as usual. I haven't noticed any drop in production during these breaks, so I believe it's a beneficial practice for the long-term overall health of the flock. I would also like to talk about combining apple cider vinegar with other natural supplements. I am a big advocate for natural and economical solutions, so besides the vinegar, I also use other ingredients that further boost my chicken's health. For example, once a week I add chopped garlic to the feed. Garlic is an excellent natural dewormer and also helps fight internal parasites. I chop 2 or 3 large cloves of garlic, mix it with the feed, and offer it to the chickens. They love it and the benefits are fantastic. Another thing I do regularly is offer fresh greens and vegetables: kale, lettuce, pumpkin, carrots. All of this is excellent for the chickens and provides important vitamins and minerals that complement the feed. I hang the kale leaves in the coop, which in addition to nourishing the chickens, also serves as entertainment for them. Chickens that have activities to do and interesting things to eat are happier and more productive chickens. I also always keep a box with coarse sand or dry soil available where the chickens can take baths. This natural habit of chickens helps control external parasites like lice and mites. Many people don't know, but chickens don't clean themselves with water like we do. They clean themselves by taking dust baths. The sand removes excess oil from the feathers and suffocates the parasites. It's amazing how something so simple makes a difference in the bird's health. I also want to share with you some observations about my chickens' behavior after I started using apple cider vinegar. The birds became visibly more active and alert. Before, it was common to see some chickens looking a bit listless during the day, standing in corners of the coop. Now they are all always on the move, scratching, exploring the environment, and interacting with each other. This is a clear sign that they have more energy and vitality. Healthy chickens are active chickens. I also noticed that the hierarchy in the coop became more balanced. Before, I had some very dominant chickens that would peck and intimidate the weaker ones, causing stress in the flock. With all the chickens healthier and stronger, this aggressiveness decreased significantly. Of course, there is still a natural pecking order, but it's no longer as pronounced. This is important because stress is one of the biggest enemies of egg production. Stressed chickens simply stop laying. To wrap up, I want to leave some extra tips for anyone who wants to implement this method and have the same incredible results I did. First tip, be consistent. It's no use using apple cider vinegar for a week, stopping for 2, coming back for a few days, and stopping again. Consistency is fundamental to seeing results. Second tip, observe your chickens daily. The better you know your birds, the faster you'll identify any problem and be able to take action. Third tip, keep records. I write down every day how many eggs were collected, how much feed was consumed, and any abnormal behavior I observed. These records help me identify patterns and make adjustments when necessary. Fourth tip, invest in knowledge. Read books on chicken farming, watch videos from other experienced farmers, participate in poultry groups and communities. The more you learn, the better you take care of your birds. Fifth tip, don't be afraid to experiment, but do it in a controlled way and by observing the results. Apple cider vinegar was an experiment that worked out brilliantly for me, but I always tested it on a small scale before implementing it across the entire flock. That's for safety. I really hope this information has been valuable to you and that it can transform your egg-laying chicken operation, just as it transformed mine. Organic apple cider vinegar is truly a miracle ingredient that nature offers us, and the best part is that it's affordable, easy to use, and brings proven results. If you implement this method with dedication and consistency, I'm sure you'll see your chickens laying many more eggs of better quality, and most importantly, you'll have much healthier and happier birds. Don't forget to leave a comment here about your experience if you decide to test this method. I love reading your reports and knowing that I'm helping other farmers succeed with their birds. If this secret about apple cider vinegar transformed your view on coop productivity, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. We are revealing natural methods that many prefer to hide. Cultivate the success of your farm. The next valuable piece of knowledge will be shared soon,